Well, hey everyone, welcome to a special edition of the Criterion Closet Picks, my selection series. However, as you notice, it's during a time where we really can't meet with each other. We can't do anything. There's a little bit of social distancing, but that's okay. I actually have 3 Criterions that I have picked and selected from my own collection that I have recently viewed and I think are good recommendations for you. So if you're new to this channel, and hello, welcome, my name's Nathan Jones, and I talk all things movies. I'm just a guy in a chair talking about the Blu-rays that he has. I am today talking about the Criterion Collection. So this series that I do on the channel is usually where I have a friend come over, they choose 3, I choose 3 from my collection, and then we sit down, we talk to each other about our selections and what we think of the film, what we think, is there any themes connected to it, and why we think these are good movies to watch. So let's just jump straight into the selections that I have chosen for this Criterion Closet Pick. I hope you enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to your comments down below. Also, does anyone else think their hair is getting really long? Because I feel like mine's just growing way too long. I need a haircut. Alright, cut. Alright, so the first film that I want to talk about is the most recent film that I've seen of the 3. And this is something that's still fresh in my mind, and I'm really excited to talk about this director. And that is Abbas Kiarostami's Closeup. Now this is spine number 519, and this is from 1990, and so it came out a few years before I was even born. So this film is fantastic. Now, it is a work of fiction and non-fiction. It's a blend of the two, and Abbas Kiarostami, I've been told so much about this amazing Iranian director from my friend Palmer, who's also been on the channel before. He really loves Kiarostami's work, and so he informed me about this film, and I actually even picked up the Coker trilogy. So this is actually a preview as well to the things that I'm going to be doing future in the Q series. I'm actually going through Kiarostami's work, so I have some of his work besides Closeup that I will be talking about in the future. So in a future video, very soon, in my next Q series, I will be talking about more of Kiarostami's work. I will be a little bit more informed about his work as well once I've seen other things. The other thing I really like about this particular film in the collection is the supplements. The supplements are fantastic. And so this actually has The Traveler, which is Kiarostami's first debut work. It also has a few interviews of him talking about Closeup and talking about the main character in this movie. So the main character of this film is impersonating another Iranian filmmaker, Mohsen Makbalkov. I think I said that right. Anyway, I am not Iranian, I don't speak Persian. So there is a person who is impersonating this Iranian filmmaker. He tricks this family into believing that he is making a new film about them and their lives, and they invite him into his home. And this is more or less the trial and tribulation of this character, both fictionalized and non-fictionalized. So what I think is really fascinating is that the special features, after watching the film, I was already blown away by the artistic nature of it, because it's a blend of reality and what we think reality could potentially look like, what we imagine it to be like. It's one of those films that you really think of it as a non-event. It's this guy who just maybe his motivation was only to impersonate and only to become this artist that he is not, this director. And maybe that's the only motivation he had. And you really are questioning this person's sanity. Is it sanity or is it artistic creation? I don't know. It's a really fantastic look into that mind and also the minds of the people who are around them. What's fascinating, like I said, about the special features is it kind of delves into why Kiarostami thinks that this is a really interesting piece of work. And the fact that the family and the perpetrator and the victims both collaborated in the fictionalized or the fictionalized aspects of this film. They recreated a lot of the stuff that actually happened to get to this situation that actually occurred. So it's a blend of those two. It's really fascinating. I cannot wait to check out more of Kiarostami's work. I really loved The Traveler. It's a really great film that reminded me much of The Foreigner Blows but Truffaut. But if you haven't checked out Closeup, you should definitely check out this film. It's a fantastic piece of work, and from 1990, this is a really good start. And I want to say shout out to Elliot Coen, who's actually, I recently was on his channel, and he is the one who got me the idea to check out more Kiarostami. He talked about Closeup as being the first one that I think would be a good introduction to his work. Also, go check out that video that Elliot and I had collaborated on. We talk about the 7 deadly sins in the Criterion Collection, and it's really, really fascinating. We picked a different Criterion Collection piece for each sin. And so I think you would really enjoy that collaboration, and I hope to have a collaboration in the future where he comes on to this channel too. It's going to be great. So let's move on to our next selection pick. All right, so the next film that we're going to be talking about is a classic from 1971 that's been sitting on my shelf for way too long, and that is Hall Ashby's Harold and Maude. Now we have Ruth Gordon, who plays Maude, and we have Bud Cort, who plays Harold, and this is a really young guy, a young man, who is really rich. We have Harold, who is in his early 20s, and his mother is trying to set him up, having a romance, trying to figure out why this kid is so weird, why he's committing all these suicidal tendencies that is more or less a cry for attention. He's trying to figure out what's going on in his life, where he's at, and he does a lot of really crazy things. He likes to attend funerals, and that's where he meets Maude, and a woman who's about to turn 80, and she also is really crazy with her antics, and they catch each other's eye because they are just visiting funerals that they don't even know the person, and it's just this really crazy concept of where they just started getting into hijinks together, and they start pulling really crazy stunts, maybe one with an army recruiting officer who lost his arm, who wants to give a salute to Nathan Hale, which is hilarious. This movie's hilarious, and I think Hall Ashby's work here is really, really fantastic, and not to mention, the soundtrack by Cat Stevens is just amazing. It's just from start to finish. I think that it's just really, really clever how they interweave all of these aspects together. It's such a fantastic film, and it brought me great joy and sadness at the same time with this really uncharacteristic romance that definitely should not happen, but also we're like, these two people, there is something about the two as a pair that really, really work, and you question those conventions of, well, this person's really young, this person's really old, so they should they be together? And it's just a fantastic kind of dissection into that, besides the fact that it's just a kind of a coming of age story for Harold and trying to figure out who he is and who he should really love. And I think it's a fantastic film. I cannot wait to check out more of Hal Ashby's work, and I think you should check out Harold and Maude if you haven't seen it either. This is a really great film, so check it out. So that is my second of my selection series. Alright, so the last film is also from 1971 and is a little bit less pretty than Harold and Maude. It's still pretty sad at the same time, but let's tackle Peter Bogdanovich's The Last Picture Show, which comes in this great box set, right, by the way. American Lost and Found, the BBS story. I have not seen any of these other films except for The Last Picture Show, so I cannot wait to actually tackle this big box set someday. But I actually watched The Last Picture Show from 1971, Peter Bogdanovich's great classic that really just tells about a dying town in Texas. So this movie is set in the early 50s in a really dying Texas small town, and the only really semblance of anything that actually exists in this town is there is a picture show, there's a movie theater that exists that really helps kind of the culture of the youth that exists there. This is really reminiscent of some of the towns that I grew up around, and also if I ever go back to my hometown, which is a small town outside of where I'm at right now, I can definitely see elements of this resonating with me in a different way. So this film centers around 3 teens who really are very, very lost. We have Sybil Shepherd, we have Jeff Bridges, and we have Timothy Bottoms. And so those characters are Sonny by Timothy Bottoms, Dwayne, Jeff Bridges, and JC by Sybil Shepherd. And each of these characters are really, really just trying to figure out what to do with their lives. You also have people like Randy Quaid in this movie, and this is kind of before he went crazy, but who knows if he's been crazy the whole time. So what I really like about Bogdanovich's Last Picture Show is the characters are really meandering in an aimless way, and it's really, really sad to see. They really don't know what to do with their young adult lives, and so that is really kind of applicable to a lot of people in the world, and especially at that age. I feel like a lot of us are really just kind of wondering around like not knowing what to do, but them especially in this film where they live in a town that does not support what they're doing, and they're making all these really crazy choices like sleeping with people they don't know and trying to do ridiculous things like wear a sombrero and get really, really drunk like Jeff Bridges. There's just so many things that are going on in this film behind the scenes that are not really depicted, that you can just feel that in this desolate location. It's really a fantastic and also very sad and tragic look into a dying, it's called The Last Picture Show for a reason. It's a dying world that exists. So it's a really, really fantastic look into what something like this could look like. So I'm really looking forward to checking out more of the American Lost and Found story, but also more of Bogdanovich's work. I know he is a journalist and a film historian, besides the fact that he's a director. So this is something that I've been looking forward to for a long time. So those are my 3 picks. Those are my 3 selections that I have chosen, and I hope you are able to check out some yourself. Let me know down in the description down below what you've been watching lately, Criterion or otherwise. Tell me down below in the description. I am very thankful for all of you for being here, taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I hope you like it. I hope you comment down below, share this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.